Hey guys, this is Dark Limiter reviewing Medal of Honor PC version, and today we'll begin by reviewing the single player. Now the game is about you're part of Tier 1 and you're currently based in Afghanistan. You're fighting the Taliban rebels who are trying to take control of the country, and you are going to stop them in several dangerous missions. We're going to try to stop them anyway. Now I found the single player very interesting and enjoyable actually. Now, most games today seem to be bent on like end of the world or something, but this was pretty realistic, I must admit. Though I think that the game is a bit short. It ended kind of abruptly for me, though the ending was pretty good. Now in the game you would be able to fly choppers, ride ATVs, and direct gunships, and do lots of intense gunfights, which are pretty fascinating to say the least. I also like how you can change your caliber weapon when you direct gunships. Like if you're aiming at position, you can change the weapon from a 155mm to a big bomb or something like that. It's interesting actually, and I had fun doing it, blowing the hell out of houses and crap. Now audio-wise, the game sounds fun, and graphic-wise, this is where it gets interesting. The single player runs on a modified Unreal Engine 3, heavily modified, to say the least. And the graphics look, well, they look not bad in some places, and though in other places they look pretty awful. Though I usually play not for graphics but gameplay. The graphics, like in some of the helicopter scenes, look pretty interesting and very beautiful. Wow, close-ups are not always good looking too. The dust and the terrain was pretty interesting looking. Now the frames per second was interesting because when I ran the game it never went above 62 frames per second, but it never went below it unless it was an intense explosion. So I was wondering if that was like an liability that I couldn't go above this certain amount of frames per second. Maybe it could, but I'm not sure. I have to ask around and see if anybody else has not experienced this yet. So the AI in the game is very, very good actually. I have to admit, like the firefights I've had with the AI in the single player was pretty intense, I have to admit. Got my heart beating several times. I've died, like, lost count of how many times I've died in the single player. So, it's pretty good. And as for your teammates, your computer bot friends are pretty good. They can wipe out any team. They're far better than most of the AI I've seen in most games. And I like how I can ask ammo from one of them, and it's very, very useful, especially in that the hill battle I had, and I ran out of ammo like 2 times and I had to ask for more ammo, and they gave it to me. So, pretty much my thoughts on the AI The AI is pretty good. Now the game, like I said earlier, was very, very realistic. They definitely worked with the US Army on this. They had like constant, the units on the ground were talking back to each other hundreds of times, confirming various things. So it was pretty interesting to see how it worked. The game also has, single player also has Tier 1 mode, which is pretty much like Modern Warfare Spec Ops, but you're by yourself, and you win awards if you get past a certain point, though I haven't really played it much. So basically, the single player is pretty fun, just a little shorter than I liked, though it was a little longer than Bad Company 2 or Modern Warfare 2 for that matter, since we're going to draw comparisons between these two games. And it's very enjoyable, I have to admit, very enjoyable. And I give it a good try, or rent at least. Now for the multiplayer, I bought the Tier 1 mode edition of Medal of Honor, and it came with a customized desert skin for the M60 and some other limited edition items that I don't know if I forgot. The game 7 and then 2 shotguns. Now the multiplayer runs on Frostbite Engine 1.5. I think it's the old version because there's not much destruction in the multiplayer, I noticed. So it's a little obvious. And the game is obviously made by DICE. The similarities between lots of the guns are very, very obvious. But the gameplay is more like Call of Duty more than Battlefield Bad Company 2, if we're going to draw comparisons here. Like, you have kill streaks, which give you advantages like with cruise missile and an artillery strike or a rocket strike or a mortar strike. There's like all sorts of different streaks you get. But you don't get kill streaks. You can also get, it's actually point streak. Like you get points for giving out ammo or kill assists and some other things. capture the flag or some other stuff. The game modes are basically identical copies of Battlefield Bad Company 2. Though there was this one mode where you had to assault 2 objectives within a certain amount of time instead of within a certain amount of health that your team has. Now they have like sector control, which is basically a conquest with a new name, and the maps are, I think they're a little too small, way too small for 24 players to blast each other to pieces. Like Kunar Base, I have big complaints about, which is just basically spawn camping and lots of noob tubing, which is very annoying. But you get this a lot in a lot of games, unfortunately. Now they added Punk Buster to the game. I'm not sure how effective that is, but I'm already seeing cheaters around, so not much comment on that. The servers, they have the same servers as back in Day 2, just with 24 people instead of 32 people. And they have you have to rent it through these guaranteed partners, whatnot. Now you get all sorts of things like friends list, which you can add people and join them in game while they're in game in Medal of Honor. But the friends list is basically inside the game. And there's matchmaking, though I'm not sure how much well that works because it always throws me to a server with high ping. And so the gameplay itself, which is pretty fun, the kill streaks, well, point streaks actually, are not bad, I have to admit. You can choose offensive options, which drops mortar strikes, or defensive options, which gives your team ammo or flak vests or UAV to support your team and give you an automatic amount of points. So, and the guns themselves, pretty much like I said earlier, like Bad Company 2. Though just recoil is kind of annoying. There's a little recoil in all the guns. And you have sniper one-shot kills, which I think, I'm not sure, I'm kind of conflicted on how that should work. Because some people say it's unrealistic not to have two-shot. Unrealistic to have 2 shots to kill a person. And other people say it's, you know, the sniping is just annoying as hell in Medal of Honor multiplayer. Now, as for graphics, the game looks like Bad Company 2, obviously. It runs very well. I think they might have optimized it ever since the early release. And I hope they continue to do that when they release Battlefield 3 for the new Frostbite 2 engine, which hopefully will have more destruction. And this game, like I said, it runs on an older version of Frostbite, so it doesn't have much destruction. Though you can always see like signs getting blown off in the middle of a street fight and RPGs and whatnot. So basically my thoughts on the multiplayer is enjoyable, not exactly staying power, but like that. So basically my thoughts on the multiplayer is it's fun, enjoyable, and it's definitely a good try. It's fun while it lasts. Just I wish they added mod tools, but it looks like that's never going to happen in a long time. And I hope they continue to update and improve the game. So many of you are probably asking, is it worth 60 bucks? I'd say probably not 60 bucks exactly, maybe 40 or 30. I would recommend you should buy it when it goes on discount. At least give it a try. The single player is definitely interesting. The multiplayer is definitely fun, though I'm not sure how much staying power I'll have with Black Ops coming out next month and the Vietnam, which will probably chew up everything, chew up all its player base. And then it'll probably be dead within a couple months, sadly. And the reboot of a franchise has gone flop. So those are my thoughts on the game, and if you have any thoughts or comments on it, please comment below and debate, or if you like one of my positions on the game. So anyway, thank you very much for watching.